Pole Association of Uganda. We are in Fort Portal. To be very specific, the Grafton Arms Tavern, bringing you live action for the Grand Open. First tournament of the year 2025. Pole Association of Uganda rules: black skirt, black trouser, white t-shirt polo, or black polo t-shirt. The rules are black ball. The tournament is timed. And on center table, action continues between Fahad Ntambi against Nsubuga Humphrey of Scrap Buyers. Fahad Ntambi is leading 1-0. And you can see in the back, on the back of his t-shirt, there's his name. I don't know if that is now spelled in Jamaican, but I know him as Fahad, but the t-shirt is saying Fakada. So that could be maybe Belarusian or Russian. Almost every pool player has an AKA, and it's funny. Recently we were watching what they call the ATA league format, and all pool players were given t-shirts, and all of the players actually have AKAs. I was laughing just looking at the AKAs, man. There's one called the Sheriff. Ricky Rose, Eric Nagawa is actually called the Sheriff. But back on the table, Fahad still leading 1-0 against Nsubuga Humphrey. I beg your pardon, just before we went off, trying to get some technicalities straight here so that you actually get the best of the broadcast. And Fahad was on black, got the shot in center, failed, and then has given a chance to Nsubuga Humphrey. Playing technical is what I remember him doing the most. And he will have to milk a stone, that's Fahad, sometimes to win games of this nature from Nsubuga Humphrey. Very good technical player. Also good with offense, because the first game that he lost, actually he had attacked it to the very last bit until he snookered himself. But now Fahad has to come from the angle. Misses. That's a foul. Two shots now given to Nsubuga Humphrey. Remember, still their games are timed. It's rest of 4. Rest of 4. Timed at 55 minutes. Now let's see what he can produce here. Maybe can choose to release the balls that are not well aligned from the cushion and then get advantage of. Yellow release from the cushion. All balls are in good sight. Nsubuga Humphrey decides to go for the long way home. Points. 5 more yellows for Master P. I remember during the 2017 Logogo affair, just before the car was won, before the car was won for the second time by Fahad Sewankam. Nsubuga Humphrey was actually one of the top players 2016-2017 in Logogo. He used to be one of the hardest players in Logogo. And you would curse if you found him at any one of those stages in Logogo. But that is almost 7 years ago. And I remember the game between him and Sewankambo Fahad. He has actually gone through the yellows and now on black. Equalizer for Nsubuga Humphrey. It's 1 Nsubuga and 1 Ntambi Fahad. Special shout out to the guys from Western Uganda, those who are representing Fort Portal, where we are, the host region. Those, of course, representing Rokonjiri. Big up to Manager Francis. Those representing Greater Ankole. Prince and his boys from Mbarara. I see them here. I see Kingo. I see Sula. I see Rutura. Those who have come from Ishaka, Ivanda, and the neighboring western regions. Big up. Well represented, of course. This region is also producing some of the best players in the country. Not at the moment, but there are so many players who have come from this side, the western region. And if I could mention them by name, you'll be surprised that Gomesi is Alfred from the western region, Turije Jonan from this western region. All of them are former winners of the National Open. Amos Ndiago Manawe from the western region. But then Central, there's a time when Central became a problem. Sula Matovu, Sewankambo Fahad, and then after him, Sewankambo won again. Then Wanika Mudomba Nsuru. And then a gentleman came from the north, from nowhere. And now is the epitome of Ugandan pool. He's the only one who has well represented the north ever since. Maybe an Odon Kenneth, who actually won another tournament, I think, recently. But Buganda or Central had dominated most of these tournaments. John Du Emisero, surprisingly, he's from the north. Many people were thinking the Musoga, what? No, the guy, he reasons like a Sogi, but he's actually from the north. But no disrespect, it's just a joke. But yes, Sero is from the north, and what a shame to his brothers. He has played pool for 30 years, but the best he has achieved from pool is maybe having Sero has his own queue. He some of the things that Sero has achieved in pool is buying his own queue, buying his own chalk and glove. Achievements. Like imagine the children are asking him, "Hey dad, you played pool for so many years, what do you have?" And that's all he has to show.
He has also gained publicity because one time when I went to Kenya, they were asking about Sero. They thought he knows pool, but then I told them exactly what Sero does. Sero, he's just in publicity. A person who bought his queue, one of the cheapest queues in Uganda, because I think he bought his queue at for around 50,000 mostly.
I had no idea. That was more expensive than that.
No. You just got a bad perception.
And a big up to John Do Emisero, does wonderful work, especially for all with us in terms of publicity. All the WhatsApp pages, you see the updates going on and the links you keep sharing. That is the work of John Do Emisero, part of our publicity. A good shot by Nsubuga Humphrey here, getting an off ball there for the Reds, and then also white for black. Unfortunately, he didn't think it would be for a cut angle, but he does get the white really well and gets the shot right. 7 balls. Mukyalo wabagamba 7 balls. So Nsubuga coming from 1-0 down to lead 2-1. Right here at the Grafton Arms Tavern in Port Portal. It's a grand open for the Pole Association of Uganda. Special shout out to National Council Sports, all press people that are here, and a special shout out to management of this very place. 2-1, Nsubuga Humphrey leading here on center table. You know, back in the day, we used to have to wait for only the calendar, most of the calendar events or PAU to watch pool players. But recently, we are privileged to know that pool happens almost every week. Almost every week, there's a tournament being played somewhere. Almost every week. If it is not in Kansanga, it is somewhere in Kamocha, in Bwaise, in Kawempe, somewhere in Jinja, somewhere in Mitiana, somewhere in Hoima. These poor players are very busy, extremely. So the privilege of them hiding away from their fans and seeing them every once in a while is all gone. Now we see them every day. Back to the table, Nsubuga Humphrey, yellow. Nsubuga Humphrey has 5 yellows to go, leading 2-1 here. Remember, the tournament is time best, so whoever leads gets an advantage, a big one, like what Nsubuga has. Even the game here is in his favor, but I'm sure they are playing to 15 or 13 more minutes remaining. Actually, there are 12 minutes remaining. If Nsubuga can extend the lead here, gets 3 games, then he will have had or sealed a huge advantage over Ntambi Fahad. The space, one of the biggest problems for the tournament here, because you can see the consciousness surrounding the players when they go down to bed and take their shots. Somehow they feel distracted when the waitress or player or somebody passes by. And those are some of the disadvantages of this game, because it's a mind game. Someone can actually think you are trying to destabilize play, but sometimes it's just a space problem, like what we're experiencing here in Fort Portal. But all in all, we are having a good time. Poll is going on, and we will have a winner. It's a 2 days tournament, so it means it will be ending tomorrow. But the best male player will be given 3 million shillings. They will have won 3 million, and the best female player will also walk away or drive away in her car if she's the one, with 1.5 million Uganda shillings. There's also a category for the men who are above 40, the masters, and another category for the women, for the young ones who are usually below 17. Those are called the juniors. 700,000 shillings up for grabs. Nsubuga Humphrey leads 3-1. 3 million shillings up for grabs for the men, 1.5 million Uganda shillings for the women. Remember, you haven't seen the seeded players yet because seeding is very, very important, and this is how you actually can see the value. The seeded players get that privilege of only coming on table after second round in PAU organized tournaments. So this is what they are fighting for, because this tournament will also having seeding points, and so you really have to struggle so hard to fall into the category of the first 8 for the men and the first 4 for the women. Because when there is national duty, for example, the team has to fly out and go and play in the UK or in the South Africa or anywhere else in the world, they will only consider the national team players. And how do you become a national team player? You only become one if you excel with seeding points. That's why we have seed number 1, who is Kasozi Joseph in the men's category, and seed number 1 in the women's category, who is Chisache Marion, aka Anka Sheila. Those will be the first names to be called upon in case we have national duty. Yaman. Oh, good shot. Good shot there from Fahad Ntambi. And it's about 7 minutes remaining. 7 minutes remaining. Fahad will have to win 2 games to equalize in 70 minutes or less. Very unlikely. He has a ball which is actually in harm's way. Up right here in the left corner, there is a ball, red ball for Fahad Ntambi. I don't know how he'll actually play that. He has a little bit of sight of the edge, but now he has to play a good shot after that. And I reckon he is already seeing the future. Even in my own mind, I know he's going to try to play center and get the white up. Okay, but is that sight enough for him to pot? I don't know. Let's all watch. Umpire will have to be very, very sensitive to this shot. Oh, there was actually no foul. There was nothing for us to watch out for. He played it really, really well. And where he got the white, actually, I think he has full sight of the black. Can you imagine? Full sight of the black. Fahad Ntambi. Ports, 3-2. 6 minutes remaining. That's enough time for someone to win another frame. And if Fahad wins 1, there will be a possibility of these games being deadlocked at 3-3 before the eclipse of time.
6 minutes left on the clock.
Fahad Ntambi 2, Nsubuga Humphrey 3. Fort Portal is where we are. So far, we are having a good time. How are you finding Fort Portal, my friend Semanda Roger? You should be talking to some of our people who are in Kampala who are not yet here, and just give them a little bit of picture of what Fort Portal is. Look, I don't know if you've been here before. I have, but that was a while ago. But you tell us a little bit what or how you are finding Fort Portal.
Yeah, Fort Portal, actually, I just woke up to a very cold weather this morning. You know, Kampala has been terribly hot for the past month. So I woke up to a very cold weather. I didn't anticipate that this place would be this cold by this time. I've been here before, but then since Kampala has been terribly hot, I thought it is the same thing this side.
So you did shower because it was cold?
No, I did shower. I always shower. Regardless of the temperatures, I always have to shower.
Well, that's how things are panning out here, but back to the center table action. Fahad Ntambi is the one that led 1-0 at some point. Nsubuga Humphrey came, equalized, went to 2, went to 3, and now Fahad is the one chasing the man he once led at some point for an equalizer. Fahad Ntambi 2, Nsubuga Humphrey 3. And this game only has 4 more minutes remaining. 4 more minutes remaining. But like we told you, there's going to be bigger games coming on.
Umpires,
Seeded players coming in, of course,
next
at
game,
some point on
table
round 2.
Monday Chalice, table 3.
Ntambi is still on the chase here on the Reds. He needs actually to use his time very, very well. He will have to play with a bit of speed, but also with a bit of care at the same time.
Robert, center table.
Ntambi Fahad on the Reds, trailing 2-3
Mitsaba,
with about 3 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. He has to be real careful here. Could lose the frame.
space for our players.
He's going slowly but surely. Fahad Ntambi on 3 Reds, ladies and gentlemen. Nsubuga is leading 3-2. Oh, he fouls. That's a foul. No ball touched the cushion. Nsubuga is already leading 3-2. Has an advantage over time. Has been awarded 2 visits. He should be able to use his time profitably.
Table 5, Sofiana Kumarirwa,
In the world.
Jose Namuli.
And he's sporting, by the way.
Table 3,
You can see
Idi Chiza,
from your angle
Johnny Kabolina.
that he can actually finish this game, even though he's the one with the time advantage.
2 minutes, 20 seconds on the clock.
Nsubuga Humphrey with 5 more yellows and 2 minutes remaining. He can take all the time he has in the world. He's the one in cruise control. He's the one leading with the score of 3-2. And now it's 1 minute remaining and 50 seconds. Even though he derails this game, Fahad will not be able to break and win the next frame and beat the time. So Nsubuga can even afford not to lose this game, but he will still win on a time advantage. However, he decides to go carefully. 1 minute remaining and 30 seconds. The look on Fahad Ntambi's face says it all. That he's already crucified and waiting judgment day. Still Nsubuga on the yellows. 1 minute remaining now.
1 minute, 00 seconds.
And he's continuing to pot, inflicting more pain to Fahad Ntambi, formerly of Icon Poor Club. Nsubuga currently plays for Scrap Buyers, has been co-captaining.
30 seconds.
Doesn't get a good weight, but who cares? He's already leading 3-2 and only a few seconds remaining.
Newton Mayanja, Arnold Senkwana.
15 seconds remaining.
Table 2.
Decides to
Press now.
painfully beat the guy. Even he beats the time, wins the frame.
Correct.
Everything goes in his favor. And Nsubuga Humphrey goes through to the next round after defeating Ntambi Fahad.